Following a split of the ancient Jedi Order, where one group of Jedi fell to the dark side and fell under the influence of dark forces, one dark warrior led the fallen and now defeated Jedi to unknown space. This dark Jedi, whose name was Ajunta Pall, would become the first true Dark Lord of the Sith. After discovering the primitive but powerful Sith race, Pall conquered the species with the rest of the Dark Jedi, but in the process absorbed much of their doctrine. However, this information and history was gathered by only what the Jedi and others have documented concerning Ajunta Pall. Pall himself claimed that there was a darker force in the form of a relic, pulling him down the path to the dark side that manifested itself in an ancient sword. Pall had used this sword while leading the uprising of the Dark Jedi. Although he never revealed where he received it, he claimed the sword had influenced him during his battles with the Jedi Council, but also revealed that he believed it was damaging him and his soul despite granting him great power over the Force. This particular sword was also very rare because it featured dual blades and would be a precursor to the dual-bladed lightsabers wielded later, primarily by Sith Lords. After his life and death as a Sith Lord, Pall was buried with his sword on the planet of Korriban, with the sword placed within his tomb on the planet. Centuries later, the Sith Lord Revan would enter the tomb in hopes of impressing his Sith masters at the Sith Academy. After entering the tomb, the spirit of Pall appeared before Revan, and he was shocked by the calm nature of the spirit of Pall. The spirit, however, knew Revan sought to take the sword for himself, and thus chose to give him a task in order to test his worthiness. Pall asked Revan to feel the Force, and determine which sword was truly the ancient evil artifact. Before Revan, 3 swords appeared, as Revan pondered for a moment on which one was the true sword wielded by Pall during his life. Revan, after searching through the Force for a long moment, eventually selected the correct sword. After doing so, Revan aided the spirit of Pall into reaching back into the light side of the Force, and to use its power to become at peace. With Revan's help, Pall eventually embraced the light, but warned Revan that if he kept the sword, it would eventually corrupt him as well, and Revan would be trapped in a tomb of his own design. After leaving the sarcophagus, Revan was attacked by another Sith apprentice, who desired to take Pall's sword and deliver it to the Sith Masters himself in order to gain their respect. Revan, however, refused to hand over the sword, with the apprentice yet again attacking him. This time, however, Revan retaliated and killed him where he stood. Revan then gave the sword to his Sith Masters, taking Pall's warning of the sword's corruptive abilities and power not only to destroy its enemies, but those that wielded it. Revan handed over the sword and continued forward, attempting to gain the trust and knowledge of the Sith Masters. Later, Kreia, who was Revan's former master, would tell the story of Revan, revealing she believed he again had attained the sword of Ajunta Pall, but she also revealed that he did not know what he had done with it, or if it had had a role in his spirit remaining buried in the dark side of the Force. Kreia also hypothesized that Revan may have found a way to destroy the sword and end its evil once and for all. Although the sword itself was never seen again, likely because Revan hid it or managed to destroy it, its reputation only grew in size. Its history caused many travelers to go searching for the sword and its power even up until the age of the Empire. One Imperial trooper was even gifted what he believed to be a replica of Pall's ancient Sith weapon, as he would remember the terror the sword reigned against the Jedi Order, and that it had done so even before the era of lightsabers and the powerful first Dark Lord of the Sith that wielded this weapon, but also an evil weapon that he attributed to his fall and perhaps embrace of the dark side, and the creation of the Sith Order as a whole became of this single sword. So what are your thoughts on the ancient Sith relic and the sword of Ajunta Pall, as well as the corruption it levied against the Jedi Order, perhaps even being responsible for breaking it in half and corrupting the leader of the Dark Jedi? Also, what do you think Revan did with the sword? Did he destroy it, or did he hide it somewhere in the wide galaxy? But as a big question, do you believe the sword was really to blame, or was Pall truly an evil Dark Lord of the Sith, and his weapon simply reflected his deep-seated connection to evil? If you would like to join me in the daily Star Wars discussion and debates, follow me on Twitter at StupendousWave. Link will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video and feel it deserves it, it would really help me out if you could leave a like. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything Star Wars related, from news, explanations, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. If you have any video topics you would like to see addressed in a future video, do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below the video, or again, tweet them at me. As always, your viewership and support means the world. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.